We are being joined by Abhishek Mundada, partner, Dhruv Advisors, live from Mumbai. Welcome to the broadcast, Mr. Mundada.
Hi. Good morning to you and your viewers, and thank you for having me on.
Good morning. Sir, will the government in the budget extend the concessional 15% corporate tax rate for new manufacturing units beyond March 2024? And if yes, for how long would the government extend it by?
Okay. So it's right that from an India perspective, in terms of it to become a market leader, the thrive is only on the manufacturing sector to grow, and that has been the thrust of this government in terms of all the initiatives taken by it on the Make in India and Atmanirbhar, which is there. Let me address this point from two perspectives. One is on the legislative perspective, and other is the need for which it has to be done. From a legislative perspective, this would be an interim budget, and as interim budget, it's only for a couple of months period wherein no major tax reforms is expected to come because the election commission's model code of conduct would be in picture. We have also heard FM Sitaraman to say that do not expect any big band budget into the same. But having said that, we have seen in the past interim budgets wherein some of the measures have been taken largely to give clarity to the tax benefit. And it was like in the last interim budget, the threshold limit of the slab rates were increased. And the rationale that was given was it is important to give clarity to the taxpayers and also to boost in terms of give the consistency from that perspective. Now, taking that as a clue and considering the fact that this government's thrust and from an India perspective has been to make India superpower, and it's only the manufacturing sector that will help it to give it to, and it's just merely an extension of the time limit from March 24 to 25 or 26 as the government in its wisdom decide. There have been instances in the past that it has been done. So legislatively and under the constitution also, there may be possible to change the timelines which cannot be seen as a big bang tax reforms to violate any of the model code of conduct. So that is from a legislative perspective. Now, let's see from the need perspective. These provisions were introduced for giving concessional tax rate of 15% was only to take India to the next level and be competitive and create opportunities in the market and also for creating employment, because this is the only manufacturing sector through which the employment opportunities would be created. And that's was the reason these provisions were introduced in 2019 to show that any domestic new companies which has set up after 2019 and are able to commence the production by March 23, they would be able to get the concession tax regime of 15% as compared to the other prevalent tax rate of 25% or 30%. So it was a big boost to encourage investment and to invite investments into the manufacturing sector, which is there. Initially, the time period was for March 23, but after the COVID, government in its wisdom extended the time limit from March 23 to 2024 in the budget of 2022. But look at the scenario. When these provisions were introduced, COVID was not at picture. And the idea was that to make India self-reliant and have a competition, have a competitive edge in the market by manufacturing and having it self-reliant and also for the export. But after the COVID has come, the complete market dynamics have changed. It's not that by virtue of COVID, we have just gone by 1 year, wherein the government has given the extension only for the period of 1 year. After the COVID, the entire market dynamics have changed in terms of players have halted their capex to see how the market will react, how the financing position would be there for their ability to raise
Mr.
funds and all in terms.
I also wanted to get your opinion on the investment front. Now, in order to boost investment, if that's the purpose, how long should the government extend the corporate tax concession by?
Yeah, that's what I was addressing it to the point to say that it's not that within a 1 year all the plants would be fructified or able to achieve the growth which is there. Look at the statistics which is there. India wants to become a 5 trillion economy by 2027. It is aiming to become the third largest economy by 2030, which is there. Now, all these aspects will not be possible unless and until we have a strong manufacturing base. China's GDP share of manufacturing is 28%. It was 32% prior to 2020, which is there. India's share of manufacturing vis-a-vis the GDP growth is only 17%, and government was aiming it to be 25% by 2022. It will 6 to 7 years to achieve that milestone which is there. So in order to attract investments into this sector and to really become a leader in the manufacturing sector, to be a competitive against the China, we see the horizon of 5 to 6 years which would be there. Another important statistics which is there, which is not there as before the COVID. After the COVID, all the boardrooms have started deciding upon the China plus one strategy which is there, and it is now seriously discussed which is there. And India is actually in the forefront to grab this opportunity to be an alternative to China in terms of building up the manufacturing facility. And for that purposes, it is very important to provide this fiscal incentive in terms of the concessional tax regime to align with all these aspects of achieving the manufacturing growth that we are intending it to.
So 5 to 6
also,
years, right? That's the time period that we're looking at, and of course, India needs to, make sure that whatever China is losing, India is right there to pick it up, and before China gets it, India is right there to get those opportunities. Thank you so much for joining in on the broadcaster. That was Mr. Abhishek Mundada, whose partner Dhruv Advisories, joining us live from Mumbai.
Thank you.